Hello, welcome back. At 1:15, we're joined by former Corrie star Catherine Tilsley and her dance partner Johannes. They'll be telling us how Strictly has boosted Catherine's confidence after being told she was too fat to dance, and what they've got planned for Halloween week. Before we move on, though, we just wanted to quickly say that last Thursday we ran a poll on the show asking whether parents who don't immunise their children should be fined. Unfortunately, due to human error, we actually got the poll results at the time mixed up. We should have correctly said the outcome was 70% against fining and 30% in favour, not the other way around. Thanks to all of you eagle-eyed viewers who noticed our mistake, and we apologise for that mix-up. OK, moving on. This is a shocking but sadly not a unique case. A father has been barred by a judge from seeing his children because his ex-wife, the children's mother, spent years demonising him in front of them, ultimately turning them against their father. So what can be done to stop so-called parental alienation? What do you think on this, Jane?
Oh, well, I've written a lot about this over the years. It's a real bugbear of mine, how secretive the family court system is. So what happens is that people go into this sort of system and everything is kind of shut down and kept secret. So you can't ever really get to grips with what you're dealing with. And it means that it's not really open to criticism. And this particular case today, this is very similar to someone I know who's had exactly the same situation, who has been prevented from seeing his children now for 7 years. And as far as anybody can make out, there's never been any evidence as to why. He ended up in this situation in court, and the judge, in the same way as this judge, apologised to him and said, you should not have been alienated from your children, but I'm really sorry, there's nothing I can do about it because they've been so poisoned against you that we now can't force them to see you. Now, that is a broken-down system. Obviously, it's an extreme case, and there were two extreme cases there. But for me now, you have to get in at the start. So what they've done with these children is eventually, when the problem was already rampant, they threw a lot of money at the situation, tried to give the children sort of psychological help. It didn't work. When you sense conflict, get in right at the very beginning and mediate, because these children, their lives are being wrecked. You know, it's not great for the absent parent, hate that word. They're not, you know, some absent parents are absent by their own choice, but a lot are described as absent when they don't want to be. And I'm afraid it is predominantly men as well.
Do you think it would be a good idea, so that nobody feels that they're picked on or judged, that you just have, if you're having a breakup and you're going to be in a co-parenting situation, that it's mandatory and it's not done like a punishment or like we sense something's weird about you. So it's just like we offer. Well, it's mandatory that you get help with this co-parenting, because parenting is so difficult anyway. To then try and navigate your way around doing it separately and still be putting the child first. Because I've seen situations with people that I know, who's, I'm just being careful because I don't want to give any names, that have gone through absolute hell, and it's like the man is considered guilty until proven innocent.
It's a very mother-centric system.
It is a very mother. And then the absent parent, and we all know how powerful language is. I don't think they should be called the absent parent, because to a child, how does that sound? Your parent was absent from you. For the absent parent, all the onus on a friend of mine definitely is his ex has moved miles away with no discussion, taken his child away, and he has a full responsibility for travelling all those miles to see his daughter. She has no responsibility at all to meet him halfway or anything.
I mean, there are always exceptions, aren't there? There are a lot of exceptions where you think there is a parent that should not be allowed access to their children for all manner of reasons. But if, as you say, you get in at the beginning there with mediation, the experts in the room will immediately see, I hope, a pattern of behaviour and make that decision. And so CAFCAS, which is it's the Children and Family Court Advisory and Support Service. So they've been running this 12-week scheme, and it's called the Positive Co-Parenting Programme. And they're working with parents in high conflict situations across the country. And families are assessed by a judge to be suitable. And the aim is to reduce the potential emotional harm to children.
But
Now,
that,
as far as I'm concerned, should be mandatory.
And how about they just stop being so selfish?
Oh, if
These
only it was
parents,
that easy.
I am constantly shocked by how selfish parents can be, especially when they're splitting up, and how fragile these children must be at that time anyway. And then to start, I mean, to even, like, think about bad-mouthing. My dad left when I was really young. I was only 4, and my mum never said a single bad word about him. And she let us decide whether or not we wanted to see him. He didn't want to see us for quite a long time, but when we grew up, we all sort of made up our minds, thought, right, yeah, we'll get to know him. And when I did get to know him, I decided, well, I haven't really missed that much. So it was...
But you made that decision as an adult.
And
can I just explain...
Your mother was
it
fine,
was,
you know, but the lady in this particular case,
selfish.
The judge said, is emotionally disturbed. So, you know, not everybody is rational, and that's where the system has to step in and be the rational view.
Yeah, the overview. Can I just explain as well what parental alienation means? And what it is when a child's resistance or hostility towards one parent, we're not saying whether it's male or female, it's just one parent, is not justified and is a result of psychological manipulation by the other parent. And I think this is where you're so right, Nadia. If it is absolutely mandatory for every parent who is going through any kind of separation or divorce, that you are both made to sit down with someone who's overviewing. Because in experience that I've known through friends who've gone through this, one of the parents just point-blank refused to get involved with any kind of mediation because they were so wrapped up in anger and bitterness about the other parent, rather than thinking of the children. Put your anger against
But I think we
that
also
other
have to
parent and think of
recognise
the
that
children.
everybody that might be a bit angry or bitter isn't necessarily a bad person. Breaking up is a really hard thing to do.
I know, I've been divorced twice. I know how hard it is.
That's where the mediation comes in.
Yeah, and you can just have got into a pattern, you're really upset, and maybe saying things in front of your kids, and it can get out of hand, and then you're on a path that you can't get back off.
I would be very interested to know what happens in this particular case with this mother, because actually, if you think about it now, in adult life, if you have a coercive or abusive partner now, you know, they get prosecuted. What about children? My goodness, it's much more important that children are protected from coercive behaviour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hear what you're saying in terms of, you know, getting on some sort of path of basically slagging off your ex.
And
then you don't want to back down, because then you might have looked like you were making it up.
Yeah, one of the comments, we're keeping them anonymous for obvious reasons, but it's not just parents who alienate children from one another. Grandparent alienation needs to be addressed as well. That's another huge issue.
So sad, isn't it?
We've had so many comments, and it's obviously men and women. One lady saying, my ex-husband used to tell my children that I poisoned their food, that I stole from him, and all sorts of other disgusting things.
It's so depressing.
It is. It's really depressing.
I've got one here. I spent my whole childhood with one parent bad-mouthing the other at every opportunity. All it did was turn me against them and send bad-mouthing parent and move to live with the absent one.
Yeah.
And there's a warning.
You are storing up a disaster for the future if you think you're winning by bad-mouthing your child against your ex, because eventually, like you say, Kat, they will make their own mind up when they're an adult.
Hats off to your mum.
Yeah.
I know. She really is.
The best one.
Right, stay with us in just a moment. Strictly's Catherine Tilsley and her dancer partner Johannes will be hot-stepping into the studio. We'll see you after this.